Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey everyone, it is Christina here. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Christina. I am a naturopath, a herbalist, a GAPS practitioner, a life and business coach. So I mentor a whole bunch of naturopaths as well as like other coaches, as well as others who are in some sort of healing modality as well. So I help them refine their art, but also grow their businesses, because we all need some help sometimes. So I want to say good morning to you. I am coming from you. I'm coming live to you from my car. I've been up since 5 watching the sunrise. And as I'm watching the sunrise and basking in it and feeling it, one of the things that was coming through for me this morning was be extraordinary. Be extraordinary. And I was like, that's really interesting. Because what is extraordinary? It's extraordinary. So from my perspective, extraordinary means to do the things that ordinary people won't do. The people who I look at and I go, they're extraordinary. They're amazing. They are iconic. They are, that they've faced great challenges and they've overcome them and they've made the best out of what they've been receiving and all of that type of stuff. They are the extraordinary people. They are the people who have done the extraordinary. Because I know it's really early. Still, for many people, this might be considered really early. Getting up at 5. I actually had my alarm set for 4:45 so that I could get up at 5 and watch the sunrise. The sunrise was at 5:35-ish. Yeah, that's what my phone said. So I set my alarm so I could get up in time and, get some clothes on, sneak out of my house while my kids are still tucked in bed. They're probably waking up now. But I did it because it's the first day of the new year. And it's something that I love to do. Last year I did it. We were at the beach and made my whole house get up. Go on, we're going to the beach. It's sunrise. Let's go. And the sunrise just happened to be the beach that we're on was facing in the opposite direction. I wanted the sunrise to be in front of me, but the sunrise was behind us. It still worked. We got to see the sunrise. And we got to feel the new light touching our skin. The sunlight of the new year touching our skin and seeing it come up and seeing it come over the horizon and into position. And it was glorious. And not everybody will do that. For a lot of people, they had a really late night. For a lot of people, they stayed up until 12 to say Happy New Year at 12:01. For a lot of people, they may be waking up with hangovers today, or maybe trying not to wake up because they've got a hangover today. Extraordinary people do extraordinary things, and it doesn't mean you have to see the sunrise. It doesn't mean that there are any rules around what it is you do. But extraordinary people do the things that the ordinary people won't do. The extraordinary people will keep going when everybody else gives up. The extraordinary people will push on when everybody else says they're done. The extraordinary people know the vision in front of them. The ordinary people are walking in the valley. They're looking at the mountain. Where the extraordinary people are rising above the valley, they're walking on the mountain top to see their vision and their dreams. And it doesn't mean that they don't have downtimes. They absolutely do. But it means that they pick themselves up and they go, no, it's time to get back on the mountain. I need to stop being in the valley, because the valley, the view from here is one that all I can see is the work of climbing up that mountain and getting to the top. It's at the top where we see the view. So we need to rise to the top and walk amongst the clouds so that we can see the vision in front of us. The extraordinary people will do the things that the ordinary people won't. I was reading a quote yesterday about The Queen's Gambit. It's a Netflix show. It's a movie that's on Netflix. Maybe it's an episode. It's a program. It's an episode. So It's a show on Netflix. And so I was reading about it, and the guy who wrote it, it took him about 30 years to write the thing. And, you know, there were so many producers that said nobody's going to want to watch a movie about chess. Nobody's going to want to watch that. And it's been such a success. Now, the ordinary person might hear nobody's going to watch that and go, okay, I'll give up. But the extraordinary person goes, no, I see the vision. I see what can happen. I can see that this is an amazing story that needs to be told, and I want to tell it. I can see. And the extraordinary person can see that vision, and they keep giving when the ordinary person would give up. And there are times in my life where I wish I was an ordinary person. There are times in my life where I go, I wish I could just be, you know, say a mum and nothing else, like not have to do anything else. I wish I could just be a mum and not have to think about my business. I wish I could just be a mum and, you know, not even have to worry about homeschooling. There are times when I wish those things, but they're only for a brief moment, because I know the ordinary wouldn't complete me, because I'm destined for extraordinary. And so I do the things that the ordinary won't do. I get up at 4:40 to watch the sunrise on New Year's Day. Even though I worked late last night, like I finished work last night at 11 p.m. Even though I was up late last night, I set my alarm to get up early this morning, because it's an extraordinary thing to watch the sunrise on the first day of the new year. To see it peeking over the hills, to see it peeking over the mountains, to see that golden ember glow start to come through the clouds. It's an extraordinary feeling. And there's newness in that. There is amazing opportunity in that. I did my first Facebook Live this morning in the new year at like 5:45 this morning. Was the first Facebook Live for the new year that I did in my group called The Calling, where I'm leading a beautiful group of women through the process that I go through of calling in the new year. Calling it in, beckoning it in, welcoming it in, while at the same time calling in the new me. Calling myself into the extraordinary for 2021. Who am I going to be in 2021? I'm calling her in. I'm leaning into her and beckoning her into my present day. And I want to remind you that we all have the opportunity to be extraordinary. Every day you have the opportunity to be extraordinary. It can come in some of the most simple ways. The moment when you catch yourself about to say something to your child that you know is not going to be good, and you catch yourself and you choose not to say it, and you choose to say something different instead, something that's in alignment with actually who you are at your core and who you want to allow them to be. That's an extraordinary moment, because the ordinary is easy to let the thing just fly. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you let it fly. It doesn't mean anything like that. It takes time to practice being extraordinary. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time to realize that you don't want to say those things and you don't want to do those things and you want to do it differently. It takes time to figure out how you're going to do that differently, what that looks like to be different. It takes time, but that's the work of the extraordinary. The extraordinary isn't the work of perfection. The extraordinary is the work of going, actually, I don't want that. I want to be different. I want to do this differently. I want to say different things. I want to behave differently, and go to work about doing it. And you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it right all the time. It's the work of the extraordinary, doing that which is extraordinary, beyond and above what others will do. You get to be extraordinary in your life. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to be there with a stick and whatever else you think you might need to achieve. Nobody's going to do that for you. You're the one who does it. And the sooner you get to that space of going, it's me that makes me extraordinary, the sooner you get to be the extraordinary. Because you're not relying on anybody else to do it for you. You're not relying on anybody else to make it happen for you. You are deciding for yourself. And there's such power in that. There is such power in deciding how you're going to respond and going about working it out. Because you won't be perfect. You'll make a decision. Hey, I'm gonna do this differently. This is how I want to do it. You make big, bold proclamations. And you say you're going to do it differently. But then the real work begins. Because it's breaking the habits. It's breaking the cycles. It is changing and altering and doing it differently and figuring out, what does it look like to do it differently? What does it feel like to do it differently? How do I change that pattern that I've done for so long? That's where the extraordinary is. The ordinary is going, I want to do it differently, but then not giving yourself the opportunity to. Then not allowing yourself to figure it out. How am I going to do this differently? What is it going to look like? What thoughts do I need to think instead of what I've been thinking? What things do I need to do instead of what I've been doing? What pattern breaks do I need to make in order for me to stop the pattern? What do I need to do? And everybody's different. Everybody has their own different ones. It's all figure-outable. You can figure it all out. But nobody else is going to do it for you. You're the only one that can do it for you, which is both a powerful thing and also a challenging thing. Because wouldn't it be lovely if somebody else just did it for us? Wouldn't it be amazing if somebody else just did it for us? But then you don't get the experience of, knowing who you are, being able to sit back and go, me, I did that. I did that thing. I changed that thing. I sat through that thing. I altered it. I did it. I can feel some pride within myself for accomplishing something that was hard and being extraordinary. So I want to challenge you on this New Year's Day to spend some time thinking about who you're going to be in 2021 and decide to be extraordinary. When you think about doing the things that are just ordinary, think about, could I make this extraordinary? Not everything in your life has to be extraordinary. It could be, for example, that you want to be, the most amazing mum. You want to be an extraordinary mum. You want to be amazing at being a mum. That might be your 2020 goal. And so you ask, well, what are some of the extraordinary things that an extraordinary mum could do? She could put messages in a kid's lunchbox. She could teach her kids to iron. That's extraordinary. She could do all sorts of things that help her children and empower her children on their journey. Because remember, a mum's not a slave. Like, the definition of mum doesn't equal slave. For me, the definition of mum is somebody who's going to guide, shape, teach, and, show and shepherd and lead her children into the way that they should go. And that can be learning those very basic household skills and doing them really well. It can be learning to buy some extra and give it to somebody who doesn't have any. It could be all sorts of different things. It could be the mum who goes, I haven't read to my kids enough. I'm just going to decide that I'm going to read to my kids every night. That's going to be our new routine. And she's going to go on a quest to read to her children every night. And she might learn on that quest that she needs to keep it interesting for herself. So she gets different books to read. And she engages in different reading material. It could be that she realizes that she hasn't, that she's dropped the ball halfway through the year. Nope, I want to be that mum that reads to my kids. I might change the routine, that maybe I don't do it at bedtime, but maybe I'm doing it at breakfast. Maybe I'm doing it at lunch, but I'm still reading because it's good for them and it feels loving for them to hear me read to them. What are the things you want to be extraordinary at for 2021? Start thinking about being extraordinary, because you can do it. If you make a plan, if you decide that you're going to do it, you can do it. If you decide that you want to have it, you can have it. It's really just figuring out what's in the way of you having it. It's really just figuring out the thinking that might need to change for you to have it. But you can have it. It's there for you. You're allowed to have it. And the rest is just figuring it out. The decision, making the decision, and then figuring it out. How's it going to work? What do I need to do for me? How do I need to make this happen? Because everybody's different. Everybody will have their own stories, their own history, their own baggage that they're bringing to the table. So there is no one size fits all. It's how am I going to do this? And I encourage you to figure it out. Figure it out as you walk it out. Because as you walk it out, that's where you find the little nuggets, the little bits where you've not done the thing. Or, let's say you go on a quest for reading to your children. Let's take that. You're going on a quest for 30 days or a whole year. You're going on a whole year quest to read to your children. Because that's who you want to be in 2021. You want to be the mum who reads to their children. And you get to day 40 and you've not read to your children. And day 41, you've skipped it, you've missed it, something's happened and you didn't do it. It's in the days that you forget to do it, or in the days that you don't do the thing. It's in those days that you find the habits, the beliefs, and the stories that you tell yourself to make it okay. And that's where the gold is. The gold is absolutely learning what is it that's stopping me from achieving. What is the belief here that I have? What is the story that I'm saying? That it doesn't matter, that I will do it later? But it does matter because I said it mattered. It's in the moments when you let yourself down that you actually find the stories that have been keeping you stuck. It's in that moment when you're doing a dietary program and suddenly you go, I can't do this anymore. Or you give in to the temptation. That's where you find what are the beliefs and the stories that are keeping that subconscious patterning going. And that's where you find the gold to do the work. That's in the moment of the extraordinary. I've got lots of quests that I'm doing for 2021. One of my quests is I want to be able to do a handstand. By the end of 2021, I want to be able to do a handstand. Not just throw my legs up in the air and catch myself handstand. I actually want to be able to do a controlled handstand by the end of the year. I have no set length of time of how long I want to be able to do that handstand. But that's one of my goals for 2021. And so I'm going on a quest to be able to do that. I'm implementing some of the things that I did in my youth to be physically fit that haven't come into my adult life, like dancing, being athletic, being flexible. I'm taking up I'm doing a particular style of yoga program, which is very gentle for people who have not done yoga for a while. So I'm practicing the particular patterns. I'm going on a quest to do 30 days of Facebook Live. This is day 1. All of these quests will show me and highlight to me the areas of growth and the stories that I tell myself when I give up, when I don't do the thing. And that's where the extraordinary is. The extraordinary is facing the parts of yourself that you don't want to look at. The parts of yourself that you hide and you suppress and you're like, please don't see me. It's those parts. It's those parts where the extraordinary is, because we go and look at them and we go, okay, I know it might be painful, but this is where the growth is. This is where the gold is. This is where I continue to grow and be and become more. That's part of the extraordinary. So what quests are you going to go on this year? What things are you going to implement into 2021 in order to be the person that you really want to be in your life? For yourself, for your friends, for your family. What parts of you are you bringing into 2021? What lessons are you bringing in? What things are you letting go of? And I pray and I trust that you will breathe into being extraordinary, doing the things that the ordinary won't, and becoming that extraordinary person that is living inside of you every day, who's longing to come out and show you how amazing she is. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. Go be extraordinary. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye for now. See you later.